And welcome back to the Daily Wrap. I'm Joe Concha, along with my co-host Rick Unger, Noah Rothman, and Bradley Hirschfield. The family of an ISIS-inspired terrorist suspect, ISIS and suspect don't really go well together in the English language, shot and killed by authorities in Boston, is calling for a thorough and transparent investigation. Their lawyer says the officers involved didn't have a warrant. The FBI says Usama Rahim and his nephew talked about beheading police officers. And they say Pamela Geller, who organized that Draw Muhammad contest in Texas last month that didn't end so well, was also a target.
They're coming after me for violating the Sharia, for violating the blasphemy laws. And they mean to come after everyone that doesn't abide by, voluntarily, the blasphemy laws under Islamic law.
Now, Geller, who now says she's guarded 24 hours a day, says she won't back down. But former New York City Mayor Rudy Giuliani says there's got to be a better way for her to make a point about Islam.
She's not doing it in the right way. Does she have the right to do it that way? Absolutely. Should she be doing it that way? I would advise her to do it in a different way.
And apparently everybody was on CNN this morning. Authorities say Rahim became radicalized by ISIS propaganda on social media. Intelligence officials say social media represents a new front and challenge in the fight against ISIS. Can this be controlled, Brad Hirschfield?
Controlled in the sense that we'll just fix Twitter and Facebook and we'll be safe from ISIS? No, that's a fantasy. Can we do certain things like get Twitter to stop broadcasting people being burned alive? Yeah, we should do that in the name of human decency. But the truth of the matter is this is an enemy that's going to be stopped with one thing: brute force. That simply is what we're going to have to figure out how to do wisely. I don't celebrate that fact. Fighting is a horrible thing, and I want to tell you, it leaves a mark, a scar, even on the people who have fought a good fight. I know that. But I also know there are some enemies you can't talk out of not wanting to kill you.
Rick, can we kill our way out of this, or does there have to be some kind of comprehensive strategy around social media? And what is it for that matter?
Well, I mean, those are two separate issues. I think we have to do a better job of understanding why and how social media is being effective. There is an Iman out there who I hope we can get on the show, who's doing a great job in talking kids out of this willingness they have to go and fight with ISIS. I mean, he says it's basically the same as a kid wanting to join a gang. And he says there's more mental issues to this than people are giving it credit for. And he basically asked them some very sensible questions. And by the time he's done with them, they're beginning to realize how stupid they are for buying this. So I think that's the better point of attack. You can't really stop social media, but you can attack the people or deal with the people who are being reached by it.
It's free, it's fast, it's easy. I guess, no, the question is, what's the appeal to join ISIS? Hey, it's not exactly easy to get over there. And then, what
is the appeal to anarchism, revolutionary communism? I mean, these are relatively dead-end ideologies that nevertheless attract quite a bit of a following. And I would actually link back to our history in combating the Soviets in the sense that it had a military component, yes, but it also had an ideological component. We can't necessarily stop this problem by simply shutting it down or going after the venues where they broadcast on this sort of thing. We have to counter this message with a positive message, an ideological message that is attractive to democratic methods. The Washington Post ran a story last year that suggested that ISIS had as comparable favorable mentions on social media to France or China. It's approximately got that level of support. States aren't especially that popular, but ISIS is a state in that sense. You have to have something that's akin to a Voice of America. That's not the State Department's Walk, Don't Run campaign.
Do you think ISIS would be as big or perceived as dangerous as it is if social media didn't exist? In other words, it's all about fear, and they could get images out quickly. Yes, it's the recruiting, but also all these horrible acts that they're committing and the massive beheadings and so on. I don't know if they would have risen as quickly as they have without that component.
So I think that's the key. Would they have risen as quickly? Probably not. But people know how to get messages of hate out, and they have from time immemorial. So I think we've got to be realistic. Could they have done it as well and as fast? No. Can it get out there? It can. I want to be clear. We cannot kill our way out of this, but we may have to do more killing than we're comfortable with. I heard Tommy Franks say something once. It was very powerful. He said, when it comes to terrorists, you must kill every last one. You must find them and you must kill them.
It's a cancer.
But you can't kill terrorism. And that's an important distinction. My concern is the people who know we can't kill terrorism are not prepared to kill, and the people who want to kill don't understand that killing alone will not end this problem.
So President Hirschfield would send boots on the ground, U.S. boots on the ground.
With a heavy heart and knowing what it does, quite personally, yeah.
How many would it take? I know you're not a military guy, but
I don't pretend to know. That's where you have to trust the military to get the job done. And again, with the caveat that you're doing the other culture building stuff. The truth of the matter is, the two prime examples in the 20th century of the United States defeating a horror were Japan and Germany, and it took two things: a willingness to kill lots of the enemy, and then a rock-solid commitment to build up those cultures as soon as we were done with the killing. We're going to have to do both.
No, you're for boots on the ground?
Yes, again, reluctantly. I don't think there's any other option at this stage, unless we allow this cancer, as it were, to metastasize and possibly no longer be able to prevent it. The alternative is to allow a nascent Islamist caliphate in the Middle East that has reborn slavery, commits genocide, and destroys shared human heritage with abandon. The alternative is simply too horrible to think.
And Rick, your Democratic friends probably wouldn't agree with you, but you've said on the show also that you would support that on
Yeah,
some
it's a
level.
little more complex than that. It's not just a question of boots on the ground. It's a question of who and why we're sending people. Where do they need our people to augment the people who should be doing it at the outset, who are already in that region, and whether they're going to do it at all. It's a pretty complicated thing to approach. The problem that I have is that we're not planning any strategy considering any of these things, and that's where we're going seriously wrong.
I'm just so surprised there hasn't been more of an international movement like there was with the Germans in World War II, seeing what these people are doing. Where countries like the Germanys of the world, or like any European countries with decent militaries, are saying, let's band together and let's get rid of this, but no one seems to want to lead on the issue.
We have an international coalition. It needs to be led.
Exactly right. And so, Rick Perry is officially running for president again. We discuss. Don't go anywhere.